So when I was a kid, we didn't have multiple game systems to choose from. There really was only one game system, and it was the Atari 2600. And the Atari 2600 was video games at home. You know, that's really all you could say about it. You know, when the arcade had these amazing games and stuff like that, the Atari was nothing like that. The games didn't even come close to what you were seeing at the arcade, but it was video games at home. So, you know, that was pretty good. And so we all loved it, and like every home had them. Our home was one of the last to get it. We always were the last to get anything. But so it's 2600. That's what everybody had. And then in 1982, it happened. We hear, I saw a commercial that was about the Atari 5200. And I remember the first pictures of it. They showed a system that, you know, the games were going to look a lot more like the arcade. Like in Donkey Kong, the large gorilla actually looked like a gorilla, as opposed to the cubed monster that we had become accustomed to in the Atari 2600 games. And so, you know, we were excited about that. But then, as the advertisements went on, they advertised the most amazing thing we could have ever dreamed of in a game system: a pause button. See, back when I was playing games, if you advanced to the next level, you got to keep playing the next level. And if you went to the next level, you got to keep playing the next level. It just kept going and going. There was no pause button. I assume I gave up long before that. My attention span wasn't that great. But, you know, for somebody who was focused, I pictured people staying up for days and never leaving at all, not by choice, but because they couldn't quit the game. And so the pause button was amazing. And today we take it for granted, you know? I mean, pause button's just on everything. You can get it on your TV. But I know now, when I use the pause button now, like if I'm watching a movie and I hit the pause button, you know, I get up, I get my drink, I get my snacks. I think about, okay, what do I got to do so that I don't have to hit this pause button again, so that I can move forward, watch the movie, enjoy it, have everything I need right there, let the dog out to go to the bathroom, you know, make sure anyone else want anything, because this is the last time I'm getting up, okay? And then everything's ready. Now we unpause. Well, so for the last 3 months, we've been living this pause button. We've been living on pause. And, you know, it's something we never saw coming. Back in February, I remember this list of things that I knew I needed to get done, things that I wanted to get done that would help ministry to run smoother. And I just kept thinking, they're never going to happen. There's just not the time. There's just never going to be the time to focus on these things. And I never thought it would happen. Some of them I really was beginning to go, they're just never going to happen. And then this happens. And then things get done. And then, you know, the whole world changes. And so, you know, I don't know when we will ever have something like this again. We've had this pause to think about things, look at things a little bit differently. And I go, are we ready to hit unpause? Are you ready to get back into life as it was before? We're just going to pick up right where we were. Or there's some things in this time that you've gone, you know what, I really valued that. And I don't want it to be the same when I move forward. And so this summer, you know, I want us to think about, because the reality is our world is moving towards unpause. And I want us to think about, am I ready to do that? And so I want us to think about some different areas this summer. Some things that I think we've been forced to think about, and think about what do those look like as I move forward. Things like time with family, time with friends. Maybe I've spent more time with God that before I just always would say my life is too busy, and maybe that's become something that's happened. The juggernaut of sports, gone. Everything from professional sports, college sports, the sports that you guys play, everything was just put on a shelf. You know, you had to think about people differently. For me, I'll just be honest with you, I never have worried about COVID or coronavirus or worrying about me getting it, but I had to think about other people. Okay, maybe I'm not worried I'm going to get it, but there's other people out there that if they get it, it's going to impact their life. Maybe it was just that people were not going to be comfortable if I'm not wearing a mask. And so I need to think about loving other people that way. And so maybe it's, it caused me to have to think about that. It's just got to do with this plan. Some of you guys are planning and you got it planned out when you're going to start college. You got it planned out when this was going to happen. You got it planned out how that was going to go. And all of a sudden that all changed. For seniors, I'm so sorry about your senior year. I mean, again, this is not how I would have envisioned it being or wanted it to be. So what happens? Do we think about, all the plan? How do I now have to think about, when I think about having a plan, do I have to hold that a little looser? Because we never know. Maybe it's fear. Maybe there was fear as someone who I could have been impacted by this in my life. Or maybe there's fear about what this is going to now mean as the world opens back up for my life, what things are gone or what things might still be impacted. And then in the midst of this all, we have these tragedies that take place. George Floyd loses his life. We watched this video where a police officer kneels on his neck to the point to where a man dies, and protests rightfully happen, and other deaths happened over this period, and people's lives were changed, and we went, this is not all right. I'm not okay with people being treated as less. I'm not okay with race being a reason that someone would be looked at. And so this stuff happens, and the Black Lives Matter happens, and it becomes more in the forefront again. And all these things have taken place, and I go, am I ready to hit unpause? Or are there some things I want to look at and go, this has got to change in my life before I hit that? So this summer, we're going to look at things, those different areas, talk about them. I want you guys to share what your thoughts have been in this time. Maybe what are some things you're thinking about moving forward. The series is called Unpause. Are we ready to do that?